Alright, we're here at the Anchor. We're in Southwark. Got the Thames that's right outside. I guess I can show you, can't I? So now you can see, there's St. Paul's there. And you can see all the construction that's going on. Of course, you know, the Olympics are on their way. We're about, I guess maybe 75 days away from the Olympics here. I've just come from one of my rehearsals at the Globe, and I thought I would read Act 1, Scene 2, London, an apartment of the princes, could even be this very place. You know, we are on Bankside, and this is where Shakespeare used to hang out. Again, we're about, I don't know, 1 block away from the actual Globe, where I just was rehearsing. And so this feels very close. Now, we are beer tasting along this play here, and I'm about 2 hours away from seeing Henry IV Part 1, done by a company from Mexico City. So we are tasting Fuller's London Pride Premium Ale. I have to say, this is one of the more pleasant ales I've had here so far. This has a kind of, it's not too carbonated, which is, I guess, kind of typical of English ales, but it is cold, which for some of my American friends, you should know. It's, generally speaking, Americans don't cotton very easily to the room temperature bitter, English bitter. But if you want to see which beer this is, there's actually a sign of it outside here. You know, so you can actually see that's it right there. That's what we're tasting, right? And if you're English, you probably think I'm particularly daft, because you can find this beer in many places around here, and it may be the UK equivalent of Michelob for all I know. But I kind of like it. It has a bit of a nutty finish, a very mild taste, very drinkable, which is very dangerous. Now, Hal, what time of day is it, lad? Thou art so fat-witted, drinking of old sack and unbuttoning the after supper, and sleeping upon benches afternoon, that thou hast forgotten to demand that truly which thou wouldst truly know. What the devil hast thou to do with the time of day? Unless hours were cups of sack, the minutes capons, and clocks the tongues of bawds, and dials the signs of leaping houses, and the blessed sun himself a fair, hot wench, in flame-colored taffeta, I see no reason why thou shouldst be so superfluous to demand the time of the day. Indeed, you come near me now, Hal. For we that take purses go by the moon and the 7 stars, and not by Phoebus, he that wandering knight so fair. And I prithee, sweet wag, when thou art king, as God save thy grace, majesty, I should say, for grace thou wilt have none. What, none? No, by my troth, not so much as will serve to be prologue to an egg and butter. Well, how then? Come, round me. Marry then, sweet wag, when thou art king, let not us that are squires of the night's body be called thieves of the day's beauty. Let us be Diana's foresters, gentlemen of the shade, minions of the moon, and let men say we be men of good government, being governed as the sea is, by our noble and chaste mistress the moon, under whose countenance we steal. Thou sayest well, and it holds well too, for the fortune of us that are the moon's men doth ebb and flow like the sea, being governed as the sea is by the moon. As for proof now, a purse of gold most resolutely snatched on Monday night, and most dissolutely spent on Tuesday morning, got with swearing, lay by, and spent with crying, bring in, now in as low an ebb as the foot of the ladder, and by and by as high at flow as the ridge of the gallows. By the Lord thou sayest true. And is not my hostess of the tavern a most sweet wench? Is the honey of Hybla, my old lad of the castle, and is not a buff jerkin a most sweet robe of durance? How now, mad wag? What are thy quips and thy quiddities? What a plague have I to do with a buff jerkin? And what pox have I to do with my host of the tavern? Well, thou hast called her to a reckoning many time and oft. Did I ever call for thee to pay thy part? No, I'll give thee thy due, thou hast paid all there, yea, and elsewhere, as far as my coin would stretch, and where it would not, I've used my credit. Yea, and so used it that were not it here apparent that thou art heir apparent. But I prithee, sweet wag, shall there be gallows standing in England when thou art king, and resolution thus fubbed as it is with the rusty curb of old Father Antic the law? Do not thou, when thou art king, hang a thief. No, thou shalt. Shall I? Oh, rare. By the Lord, I'll be a brave judge. The judge is false already. I mean, thou shalt have the hanging of thieves, and so become a rare hangman. Thank you very much. Cheers. Appreciate it. Dinner is served. I know, I just had to go for the absolute stereotype, didn't I? I'm such a sucker for this country. Well, and it some sort of jumps with my humor as well as waiting in the court, I can tell you. For obtaining of suits. Yea, for obtaining of suits whereof the hangman hath no lean wardrobe splutter, and as melancholy as a gib cat or a plugged bear, or an old lion, or a lover's lute, yea, or the drone of a Lincolnshire bagpipe. What sayest thou to a hare, or the melancholy of Moorditch? Thou hast the most unsavory similes, and art indeed able to corrupt a saint. But how? I prithee, trouble me no more with vanity. I would to God that when I knew where a commodity of good names were to be bought. Yet an old lord of the council rated me the other day in the street about you, sir, but I marked him not. And yet he talked very wisely, but I regarded him not. And yet he talked wisely, and in the street too. Thou didst well. For wisdom cries out in the streets, and no man regards it. Thou hast damnable iteration. Thou art indeed the most comparative, rascaliest, sweet young prince. Thou hast done much harm upon me, Hal. God forgive thee for it. Before I knew thee, Hal, I knew nothing. And now am I, if a man should speak truly, little better than one of the wicked. I must give over this life, and I will give it over. By the Lord, and I do not, I am a villain. I'll be damned for never a king's son in Christian Christendom. Where should we take a purse tomorrow, Jack? Zoons, where thou wilt, lad. I'll make one, and I do not call me villain and baffle me. You know, I see a good amendment of life in it. From praying to purse-taking. Why, how? It's my vocation. It's no sin for a man to labor in his vocation. Poems! Now shall we know if Gad's Hill have set a match. Oh, if men were to be saved by merit, what hole in hell were hot enough for him? This is the most omnipotent villain that ever cried stand to every man. Good morrow, Ned. Good morrow, sweet Hal. What says Monsieur Remorse, huh? What says Sir John Sack and Sugar? Jack, how agrees the devil in thee about thy soul, that thou hast sold him on Good Friday last for a cup of Madeira and a good Captain's leg? Well, Sir John stands to his word. The devil shall have his bargain, for he was never yet a breaker of proverbs. He will give the devil his due. But then art thou damned for keeping thy word with the devil. Else yet the damned for cozening the devil. But, my lads, tomorrow morning by 4 o'clock early at Gad's Hill, there are pilgrims going to Canterbury with rich offerings, and traders riding to London with fat purses. I have visits for you all, you have horses for yourselves. Gad's Hill lies tonight in Rochester. Right, bespoke supper tomorrow night in Eastcheap. We may do it as secure as sleep. If you will go, I will stuff your purses full of crowns. If you will not, tarry at home and be hanged. Hear ye, Edward. If I tarry at home and go not, I'll hang you for going. You will, chops. How, wilt thou make one? Who? I robbed. I, a thief? Not I, by my faith. There's neither honesty, manhood, nor good fellowship with you, nor camest thou not of the blood royal, if thou darest not stand for 10 shillings. Well, once in my days, I'll be a madcap. Well, that's well said. Well, come what will, I'll tarry at home. By the Lord, I'll be a traitor then when thou art king. I care not. So, John, I pray thee leave the prince and me alone. I will lay him down such a reason for this adventure that he shall go. God give thee the spirit of persuasion, and him the ears of profiting, that what thou speakest may move, and what he hears may be believed, that the true prince may, for recreation's sake, prove a false thief. For the poor abuses of the time want countenance. Farewell. You shall find me in Eastcheap. Farewell, latter spring. Farewell, all howling summer. Now, my good sweet honey lord, ride with us tomorrow. I have a jest to execute that I cannot manage alone. Falstaff, Barnall, Peto, and Gadshill shall rob those men that we have already waylaid. Yourself and I will not be there. And when they have the booty, if you and I do not rob them, cut this head off from my shoulders. How shall we part with them in setting forth? Why, we will set forth before or after them, and appoint them a place of meeting, wherein it is at our pleasure to fail. And then will they adventure upon the exploit themselves, which they shall have no sooner achieved, but we'll set upon them. Yea, but 'tis like they will know us by our horses, by our habits, and by every other form to be ourselves. Our horses they shall not see, I'll tie them in the wood. Our vizards we will change after we leave them. And so I have cases of buckram for the nods to enmask our noted outward garments. Yeah, but I doubt they will be too hard for us. Well, for two of them, I know them to be as true-bred cowards as ever turned back. And for the third, if he fight longer than he sees reason, I'll forswear arms. The virtue of the jest will be the incomprehensible lies. And this same fat rogue will tell us when we meet at supper. How 30 at least he fought with. What wars, what blows, what extremities he endured, and in the reproof of this lies the jest. Well, I'll go with you. Provide us all things necessary, and meet me tomorrow night in Eastcheap. They're all set. Farewell. Farewell, my lord. I know you all, and will a while uphold the unyoked humor of your idleness. Yet herein will I imitate the sun, who doth permit the base contagious clouds to smother up his beauty from the world, that when he please again to be himself, being wanted, he may be more wanted by breaking through the foul and ugly mists, the vapors that did seem to strangle him. All the year we're playing holidays, to sport would be as tedious as to work, but when they seldom come, they wished for come, and if nothing pleaseth but rare accidents. So when this loose behavior I throw off, and pay the debt I never promise it, by how much better than my word am I? By so much shall I falsify men's hopes. Like bright metal on a sullen ground, my reformation, glittering for my fault, shall show more goodly, and attract more eyes, than that which hath no foil to set it on. I'll so offend to make offense a skill, redeeming time when men think least. I will. Check it. 1, 2, 3.